Oh, hello.
This is the meeting of the Kubernetes CSI implementation group. Today is January 29, 2018. Let's go to the agenda.
Yeah, Louis, we can hear you okay.
Okay, so first on the agenda, PRs that need attention. I think Sergey posted the CSI change for get node ID. I still need to take a look at that. I will try to get to that today. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I had you guys on mute, so I might have missed everything you said before, like 5 seconds ago. Okay. Second PR here is versioning in Cube. I think this is the stuff Louis has been working on. Luis, looks like it's ready for review. And I will also make a to-do to take a look at that today. And if anybody else is interested in that, please take a look as well. Luis, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, it's a super simple change, so
okay, we just need to
easy.
Cool.
Can I add one thing to that too?
Yeah.
I'll add it later, but I just had a question for everyone, whether anyone knows any storage plugins that require some sort of, that absolutely need some sort of local attach step that happens on the node before the plugin can be made available to the workloads. So far I have Fiber Channel, iSCSI, and maybe the ones by Rook and Ceph, but I'm not super sure.
You mean, is there some requirements on the node before the driver comes up?
Yeah, whether the driver needs to do any sort of extra setup steps per node, per volume.
Per node, per volume? I know that let's see, GlusterFS probably doesn't. Portworx, it only needs to do some installation process per node, but not per volume.
Okay. Sorry, could you repeat that?
So, Portworx container driver needs to do some setup per node once the first installation of it.
Okay.
But not per volume.
Okay. Yeah, I'm only looking for examples of per volume per node.
Yeah, I don't know any actually.
Okay.
Same here.
Sergey, do you have any plugins that you know?
I don't think
Sergey's not here. I'll have to ask him. Is Chakri here?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'll ask around then. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that. And then Felipe posted his PR. Not yet ready to.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not ready yet, but Chakri said he would take a look and give me some input, but I guess he didn't manage to. Just wanted to note it down so that he can take a look at it.
Perfect.
Just to be sure that he didn't forget it.
Okay.
I'll jump in there and take a look at it as well.
You can take a look, Vlad. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Felipe. All right, that seems reasonable. Let me. Okay, let's continue on. Any other PRs anybody wants to add here? Okay.
Now we had the one waiting for the CI system for drivers to check in. I can add it there, but
okay.
The way I see it is that the CI is still in there, the PR. We should merge it, and it will start failing until it gets fixed, until things get fixed. And I think that's the way we should do it. So if it's okay with you guys, I just merge it, and then.
I think that's okay with me. Run it by Chakri to double check.
Yeah.
And if he's okay with it, sounds good to me. Get it merged, have it failing, drive it to green, and then
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
okay,
I'll add the PR.
cool. Next up is a list of bugs. The length of provisioner generated volume names was opened last week by Chris Duchesne from the code team. I believe Brad already took a look at it. There was some feedback that Chris addressed, and it has since been merged. So we can consider that green, and then stop tracking it for future. And then I don't know if there was any progress in the Docker file one, Luis.
That's nothing. I'll take care of it this week.
Okay, no problem. I don't think that's a high prio. And task updates, we have 20 minutes. I think it might be worthwhile to go through the task list and get an update on all these items. The code freeze for Kubernetes is officially February 26th. Code slush is going to be on February 20. Both those dates are right around the corner, so I'm going to make sure everyone's aware of them. The difference between code slush and code freeze is that up until code slush, pretty much anything gets merged. Between code slush and code freeze, only things that are part of a feature that must be part of 1.10 will be allowed to merge. So there's some special requirements for merge. And then post code freeze, only bug fixes are allowed to be merged. Feature-related PRs will only be allowed to merge if they have received special exception, which is very difficult to get. So these are the dates that we're looking at, so keep those in mind. The changes in the Kubernetes code, moving mount propagation to beta, we'll have to follow up with Jan on this on Thursday at the SIG storage meeting to see what the current status is. Moving volume attachment API to beta. I know Nick had a PR out. I have not had a chance to review it after my initial review of it. It looks like Jordan's had a few comments on it since. I'll review it again today. Moving the CSI volume source to beta. Vlad, do you want to give an update here?
I don't have a PR yet, but as I commented, this is simply, as far as I can tell, this is just a documentation update on the type itself.
Okay.
Should be super easy to do so, but definitely we'll get that done this week.
Okay. Next up is add the appropriate flag gates. I think part of that work is going to go into the previous item, and this is mostly just making sure that we've updated the rest of them. So there's a dependency in the previous item.
So who's doing the flag gate?
I can do that, or you can do it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I could do that because, like I said, this particular task that's right above it is not only very related, but it's only
Yeah, I think the only additional thing would be to make sure we have like 3 or 4 flags, and I want to make sure that all of them are being addressed for beta.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll definitely run that by you.
Okay.
And then volume attachment being moved as the previous. Okay, that's the previous task.
Yeah. So I think once both of these are done, I don't know if there's going to be anything left for the flag gates other than to verify that we're all good, but let's just leave that as an item to make sure we don't miss anything.
But so there's a slight dependency on the flag gate on the previous task.
Right. So I'm saying once the previous tasks are completed, then we can pick this up as like the last item to verify everything.
All right.
So I'm okay for let's not work on it immediately. Let's get everything else merged and do this as a last verification step.
Absolutely, we could do that.
Cool. Okay, and Felipe, I think you have the volume attributes PR out. It's still in progress and needs some feedback. Is there anything you want to add to that?
think you're on mute, Felipe.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. Yeah, that's it. No, nothing to add. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Next up is enabling the end-to-end tests in Kubernetes. They were added. I think there's a process to go through to update them. You are planning to do these February 5th. Is that still the plan right now, Luis?
Yeah. Just want to make sure that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Same thing with the next one.
Okay, perfect.
Actually, test for beta is dependent on the APIs being beta, right?
Enable end-to-end test for beta. Correct. Yeah.
So I'll just wait till you guys are ready for that.
Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the end-to-end test, do you have anywhere in the end-to-end test where you generate a volume attachment object in the code, in the test code?
No.
Okay, so then there should not be a dependency because that's the only object that's getting updated for beta. The remaining, I think as long as the existing objects are the CSI volume source, and that's not changing. So as long as the test is creating a CSI volume source, then the correct path should be getting tested. Maybe you might need to adjust some flags that are being set. But I guess let's keep it as an item. You're right, there's probably a dependency there, and we can visit it afterwards.
Yep. It's probably what it is that when you turn on the test, you have to say which API you want to use. When you do the cluster, you want to use how would you do that? Because from the cluster level, is it a feature gate? You say I'm going to use beta volume attachment.
It's usually set by the client. So usually these objects are exposed to the end user, and the end user may be using a previous version, right? In this case, it might be alpha, but volume attachment, the way that we're using it, the Kubernetes system generates it.
Yeah.
And then it's consumed by our drivers. So as soon as we update, then the old version stops getting used.
Yep.
I guess the real testing here is just to, I don't think there'll be anything special we need to do here, but.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say that we can remove it, or we can keep it there saying just keep checking on it.
I say let's keep it, and then, you know, after everything is done, it could be a fit and finish kind of thing. Like, let's figure out if there's any other tests we need to add.
All right. So I'm just going to remove the status then.
Okay, or just update it to say we can revisit after or at the end. Okay, sounds good. Node Authorizer looks like it's been merged, and that's looking good. Node Authorizer for beta, I need to follow up on Nick Wren's PR to see what the status of that is. CSI credentials is also a to-do on me to review and help Sergey drive that forward. I believe the design needs to be closed. So this is a big item that we need to start making progress on, and I will try to find some time to do that tomorrow, hopefully. P1, registration of sockets with device plugin mechanism. We need an update here. This is also a major item. Let's see if we could poke Chakri for an update. Okay. FSType was merged, so we're good there. I'll just go ahead and remove that. Improve CSI versioning handling in Kubernetes. Luis has the PR out for that under review. Internal components, kubelet should probe prior to storage ops. I believe this is on hold until the status of probe is clarified in CSI. Is that correct?
That is correct. Would it make sense to open a CSI PR so that won't, because I don't know, I don't think there's anything driving it right now.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be useful. So I think this is the issue on the,
Okay.
so there's an issue there, but like maybe we can drive it forward by just creating a PR and clarifying it in the way that we want it and seeing what people say. Or alternatively, we could just bring it up at the community meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's been brought up at this point yet, so I'll open up PR.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Next item, P2, volume attachment polling. Let's see what the status of this is. I know the PR was out. I remember taking a look at it. I think it still has open issues. Okay, so I need to take a look at this. And consider moving Docker to Quay. Luis, updates on this?
No updates right now.
Okay.
We still have it the same as last week, but I will be creating the CIs to push the drivers up there automatically with Canary Dash Attack.
Sweet. All right. Topology is still in the works. I need to push this forward with Michelle. Block device, we need an update on. Do we have anybody from Red Hat on today? No. So we need to follow up with, let's see if we could get Brad or. Okay, so hopefully we'll get a status on that. Understand design to handle ephemeral volumes. We don't have anybody working on it. I think let's just punt that to GA. If CSI implements mount device, Kubernetes should call it. So that David is already working on. He's working on the CSI side to get that in. So there's a dependency there. See if we can change Kubernetes allow privilege flag. We'll have to wait for Chakri for an update on that. Passing in supplemental group is also on Chakri. When he gets back, you can get an update there. And that looks like it. We have 7 minutes left, so let's go through the non-Kubernetes changes in the CSI spec. The CSI credentials, the PR is in review and still needs to be reviewed. The language around probe, it sounds like Vlad, you're gonna follow up on that.
Yes.
Cool. And topology is on me. I need to drive that forward. Mount device, David is currently working on. There's some open issues he had about which volume plugins would benefit from this, and he's doing the homework to try to figure that out. Allow volume drivers to not implement the controller if not necessary. The PR has been opened, or an issue has been opened on this. James DeFicil from Mesos is going to be driving the PR. So that is currently in the works. We can move that to orange. Okay. Next up is the set of changes in the external repositories. We have unit testing framework, validation for CSI drivers. Status of this, Luis?
I think that's done.
Okay.
Yeah, because CSI sanity is complete, and I've been adding that to the CI, which is another part. So yeah, I think that's complete.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and mark that green then. Automated build system for the external sidecar containers is already green. Automatic push into Quay is in the works, as you mentioned earlier. Test for external sidecar containers.
Okay, this one here I have not started, but I just want to bring up that that is probably one of the most important tasks that we have.
Okay.
Because we should probably make that P0 because I'll explain why. Every one of the CSI drivers is going to depend on production support for these sidecar containers, and we need to have them at a very high quality level.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that we need not just two of us, we need the whole team to start pulling in and start writing tests for that because it's going to be a lot of work for just two people. We have luckily the external attacher has pretty good CI tests, but the provisioner has 0, and the drivers. I mean, we don't need anything in the drivers, but the driver registrar and the provisioner need to have enough coverage.
Yeah. So can we do this? Can you create a spreadsheet or something to track the set of tests that are needed for each one, and then we can distribute it on folks on this team?
You got it.
That'll be a good
I'll create a
place to
project for it, and we can track it there.
Perfect. Okay. Beyond that, external components should probe prior to storage. This again is blocked on clarification of probe call in CSI. So no work needed there yet. Automated build system for drivers. Luis?
It's still it goes together with the canary.
Okay.
So.
Cool. CSI drivers should not depend on Kubernetes. I don't know if there was any progress made there. I'm going to guess not because APRs. Okay. Docs, we can work on this post code free, so I'm not too concerned about that yet. Revisit CSI docs, that'll be post code freeze as well. This updating spec dependency is already completed, and we can remove the details. New CSI drivers, Ceph has already been completed, and David just published the new GCE CSI driver to Google Cloud Platform. It's still a work in progress. He's going to continue to work on that.
Nice.
I think he mentioned an issue that he's running into. David, do you want to talk about it and see if any of these guys ran into it?
Well, I just don't know if it's my own code yet. I haven't had too much time to explore it, but it seems like attaching GCE is having some attaching problems as far as I can tell. It works in like manual testing, but when I put it on Kubernetes, the attach for the PD is never happening.
Attaching to the node?
Yeah, even though no errors are being reported from the operations or anything.
Yeah, luckily, I have none of my drivers that I've used, or I think any of the drivers use node attach. Controller attach. So as far as we don't have that experience. You're the first, I think.
Nice.
Okay, well, I'll keep looking into it. So hopefully we'll have a solution.
You're not using the external attacher?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm sorry, you're not using the external attacher? Is that what it is?
We are. Yeah.
He's using the external attacher. I think the problem is that even though the system is claiming that everything's attached, it's not. We'll follow up and see if there's probably a bug somewhere in the code on the driver side.
I blame GCE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
A lot of time it's gRPC communications. Sometimes will slip in. So I would start there.
Yeah.
Right. I have some pretty verbose logging. So it's like the controller publish volume is like being called and it's going all the way through. No errors being thrown at all. And it's just, it's not
I
weird.
suspect what it might be is when you issue operation against the GCE API, it doesn't finish executing immediately.
Mhm.
It'll give you a success, but it'll give you back an operation ID to track that operation.
Right.
And are you following that to completion?
Yeah, doing a
Okay.
wait, and it's polling for it until it ends.
And it reports that it's
And
done.
it reports success. And then, and then if you just check even on the GCE Pantheon Cloud Console, it shows that it's not attached.
Check
Okay.
out the code for attachment in GCE for Kubernetes. Maybe somebody there figure out some, some issue. But
yeah,
I gotta get.
I'm looking into it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I gotta get going for next meeting. But
Okay.
I do want to suggest, David, if you have a chance, check out CSI Sanity and add it when you get.
Oh yeah, that's a
further in the
working
project.
item for me.
Oh,
Definitely.
awesome! Thank you. All right, guys, I gotta get going.
Cool.
Take
Thanks,
care, guys.
Luis. And I think that's pretty much wraps it up for everyone else too. Is there anything anybody wants to add or discuss?
Nope.
All right, cool. We will reconvene on Wednesday then.
All right. See you guys.
All right, take care.
Cool.